What if the place you're standing right now wasn't empty? Around the world, there are places so terrifying, so soaked in history, tragedy, and whispers of the paranormal that people refuse to go near them after dark. But the chilling part, these aren't stories made up to scare kids. These are real locations with real reports, and some have never been explained. Let's dive into the top 10 most haunted places in the world, and by the end, you might think twice before visiting any of them. 1. The Tower of London, England. For over 900 years, the Tower of London has stood as a symbol of royal power and brutal death. Once used to imprison and execute traitors, nobles, and even queens, its walls have soaked up centuries of bloodshed. The most infamous ghost, Anne Boleyn, the ill-fated wife of King Henry VIII, who was beheaded in 1536. Guards claim they've seen her roaming the tower grounds, still clutching her own head. Others hear screams echoing through the stone corridors at night, or experience sudden, unnatural cold. And here's where it gets creepier. Many who've encountered these hauntings later suffered personal tragedies. Coincidence? Maybe. Or maybe the past refuses to stay buried. But that's only scratching the surface of global terror. 2. Aoki Gajara Forest, Japan. At the base of Mount Fuji lies Aoki Gajara Forest, a beautiful but deeply unsettling stretch of nature. Nicknamed the Sea of Trees, this forest is infamous for being one of the most tragic sights in the world. So much so that signs are posted throughout the forest urging people to seek help and rethink their decisions. Locals say once you step inside, it's eerily silent. No birds, no wind, just your own heartbeat. Visitors have reported hearing whispers with no one around. Others claim they felt they were being watched, or worse, followed. Some say the spirits of the lost still linger in the mist. Even seasoned hikers have entered and never returned. Why? No one knows. The forest doesn't give back its secrets. But on the other side of the world, something even darker awaits. 3. Poveglia Island, Italy. Just off the coast of Venice is an island so feared by locals, they won't even set foot near it. Poveglia has been called the Island of Ghosts, and for good reason. In the 1700s, it was used to quarantine plague victims. Tens of thousands were left there to die. Later, it became a mental hospital where patients were reportedly experimented on by a deranged doctor. Legend has it he was driven mad by the very spirits he tormented and eventually leapt from the hospital town. Fishermen steer clear, saying their nets pull at bones, and drone footage shows decaying buildings where shadowy figures seem to move between rooms. Visitors report feeling overwhelmingly nauseous. Some say they couldn't breathe. One explorer claimed he heard screams coming from the walls. Still think ghosts are a joke? Just wait. 4. Eastern State Penitentiary, USA. Once America's most famous prison, Eastern State Penitentiary is now known more for what you can't see than what you can. Built in 1829, it pioneered solitary confinement. Inmates were locked away alone, in silence, for years. Some lost their minds, some never came out. Today, people claim to hear voices echoing from empty cells, cell doors slamming shut, and shadowy figures darting past. One guard quit after hearing someone whisper his name in an abandoned corridor when he turned. No one was there. Ghost hunters consider it one of the most active paranormal locations on Earth, and many visitors leave shaken, sick, or somehow changed. And if you thought prisons were haunted, wait until you hear what happened in this French castle. 5. Château de Brissac, France. This towering French chateau may look majestic, but inside, it holds a dark, blood-stained secret. The most infamous resident, Lardame Vert, the Green Lady. She was reportedly the unfaithful wife of one of the lords of the castle, who murdered her in a jealous rage. Now, her ghost is said to wander the halls, dressed in green, her face twisted and full of holes. Guests claim to hear moaning in the night, with no source. Some wake to find her figure looming at the foot of their bed. Even hardened paranormal investigators say the energy in the chateau is deeply unsettling. But compared to what's waiting in India, she might be the gentle one. 6. Bongar Fort. India. Bongar Fort sits in the desert of Rajasthan. Its once grand structures crumbling under a curse that's said to have doomed it forever. The legend: a sorcerer fell in love with a local princess and cursed the entire village when she rejected him. Shortly after, the entire town was wiped out. No one knows how or why. The Indian government has officially banned entry after sunset. Locals claim people who go in at night don't come out. Reports include apparitions of children crying, shadows with glowing eyes, and invisible hands pushing visitors toward teardrops. One man said he was scratched across the back with no one near him. And now, we go from cursed fortresses to something even more disturbing: dolls, hundreds of them. 7. Island of the Dolls. Mexico. Hidden among the canals of Xochimilco lies one of the most nightmare-inducing places on earth. Isla de los Muñecas, the Island of the Dolls. Everywhere you look, dismembered dolls hang from trees, buildings, and wires. Their eyes follow you. Some are headless, some whisper in the wind. The story goes that the island's caretaker, Don Julian, found a girl drowned in the canal. Soon after, he discovered a doll floating nearby and hung it to honor her. But he began to hear voices, feel eyes on him. He hung more dolls to keep the spirits away, until the day he died, in the same spot where he found the girl. Visitors report dolls moving their heads, cameras malfunction. One girl claimed she heard a doll laugh right in her ear. You may never look at toys the same way again. But next up is a house filled with tragedy. 8. Myrtles Plantation. USA. Nestled in Louisiana, Myrtles Plantation looks peaceful, but it's often called America's most haunted home. Built on a rumored native burial ground, it has seen over 12 deaths and countless ghost sightings. The most famous, Chloe, a young enslaved woman, said to have been mutilated after poisoning her master's children. She's been seen in photographs, peering from windows. Some visitors claim she follows them, tugging at their clothes. Other reported ghosts include a murdered lawyer, a little girl who plays with dolls, and a piano that plays by itself, always the same eerie tune. But the next haunting goes deeper underground. 9. Edinburgh Castle, Scotland. Towering over the city, Edinburgh Castle is steeped in blood, battle, and if rumours are true, dozens of ghosts. Visitors report encounters with a headless drummer, a phantom piper, and even the ghost of a dog buried in the castle's pet cemetery. Beneath the castle, hidden tunnels, some of which were sealed up long ago. One story tells of a boy who volunteered to explore them centuries ago, playing his pipes as he walked. The music suddenly stopped. The boy was never seen again. Since then, visitors say they can still hear faint music echoing from beneath their feet. But the final location might be the one place where the living and the dead still check in together. 10. Banff Springs Hotel, Canada. Deep in the Canadian Rockies, the Banff Springs Hotel is both a luxury resort and the center of multiple ghost stories. There's the bride who tripped and fell down the stairs to her death. Guests say she appears in full wedding gown, gliding through halls, disappearing in seconds. There's the bellhop, Sam, who helps with luggage and then vanishes before your eyes. Sam died decades ago, and one family checked into room 873 only to vanish. The room has since been sealed up, but people still report knocks, screams, and handprints on the wall outside. If you ever stay there, don't answer if someone knocks after midnight. So, do you still believe these are just ghost stories? Each of these places has a history, real people, real tragedies, and reports from witnesses who swear they saw something they couldn't explain. Maybe it's imagination, or maybe some places don't let go of the past. And the next time you walk through an empty hallway, or feel a cold breeze in a still room, ask yourself, what if you're not really alone?